Alrighty. Looks like we're all ready to go. Thanks for joining us today. Round 2. It says round 1 on that promo. I couldn't change that. Won't be able to catch that until next time. But I love that promo. That promo is great. A little bit of the best is yet to come. Taking a quick look here at this bracket. Yesterday, Apples moved on to the second round. Faced Raichu. I believe we might be doing that match today. You guys can correct me in chat. As far as I know, right now we're doing this race. Race, of course, is Tyler versus Trombone. Looking forward to this one. These guys are both working pretty hard to make this work. Of course, I'm expecting Toma to join me here pretty soon.
Yo.
There he is.
Yeah,
hey, how's it going, Toma?
Very well. How's yourself?
Going into this one, expect Trombone to have a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, he's. I would say he's probably got the most experience when it comes to Metal Gear Solid One. Just the way that he's. Just the last couple of months, some of the runs that he's been putting forward are absolutely insane. So he's extremely fast.
Now, as a racer, what could Tyler do to give himself a bit of an edge?
Not make any mistakes. That's all.
That's pretty
That's
much
all
it.
that it is. Yeah. So if he doesn't make any mistakes and he gives himself a chance, you have to do the best that you can do, and hopefully the other racer, hopefully Tromboncino, does make a mistake.
So maybe use some safe strats in some of the harder areas.
Yeah, possibly, because I think Tromboncino kind of, the way that he runs, I think he kind of only runs the game one way, and that's as fast as possible. So, maybe there is going to be times where he takes riskier strats, and if they pay off, he's going to be ahead by a lot, but if he fails in one or two of them, then the race will be extremely tight. So it's if he tries to play it safe, doesn't make any major mistakes, then it will be a close race, because anything can happen on all bosses. There's a lot of turning points in the run.
Where could he use some safe strats?
There's a few. So if he in the first room that you go into, there's fast strats in the hangar where you can throw a chaff grenade straight away, but if you get caught, then it's alert, and then it's pretty much it gets messy really quick, so you lose a lot of time there. There's a few places.
And in that place, if you do use the faster strat, you're not saving a whole bunch of time there, are you?
No, you're not. No, you only save maybe 5 seconds over what Tromboncino. If you play the safe strat, I imagine Tromboncino will go for the chaff strat, which would be slightly riskier. But if he pulls it off, then he can save time. There's also strats into the armory before the PSG1, which if they go wrong, if you try and do the fast strat, then you're going to lose a lot of time. So, if you play it safe there, you're going to lose. It might not sound like much, but if you lose, 5 to 10 seconds over every time Tromboncino decides to do a fast strat, and then you try and do a safe strat, if Tromboncino pulls all the fast strats off, then he could be, 30 seconds ahead, before you know it. So it's sort of, it's what you want to do. Do you want to either lose the race? Do you want to give the race to Tromboncino, or do you want to try and play safe and then just keep the race going for as long as possible and then hope, something, goes your way?
Yeah, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Tromboncino's. How would you approach the race if you were him? If you have the fastest strats in your playbook, are you going to use all of them? Or are you going to kind of play it by ear and sort of see how much of a lead you can gain? Maybe if Tyler makes a mistake, say on tank, would you still go ahead and execute those fast strats if you were in his position?
Yeah, I think the difference between the strats, like you say, it will save you a lot of time, but if you know where your opponent is, like you say, if there's a mistake made on tank and you don't really have to force things, there's no need to try those risky strats. So if I was Tromboncino and I knew where Tyler was in a race, I'd maybe just keep one eye on where Tyler is, and then if it gets tight, maybe start implementing a couple of them. And if it's it's a risky way to play, but I think you have to know where your opponent is before you start making decisions on riskier strats.
Okay, and one last thing. Infinite Liquid. Are they both getting it today?
I know Tromboncino said that he doesn't get it all the time. I know Tyler gets it quite often when he does PC runs. I think they're both capable of it, and I would like to say that they both can pull it off, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, as long as the racers are ready, let me know if you guys are having any trouble getting going. But other than that, I think we're ready to start the race. So a bit of silence here before we get going. Other than that, let's move on with round 2. All right, it looks like they're off. Pretty good sync on the video feed here too. Start off here in the docks. Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about some of the strategies that these guys are going to be using in the docks.
Yeah, so the docks is quite straightforward. You pretty much you're on a timer from as soon as you skip the cutscenes at the start. So basically, you're just waiting for the elevator to come down, and there's 2 guards that are there. What you want to do really is try and avoid getting any alerts, because the more damage that you take, it's quite important that you don't take too much damage, because on the next part of the game that you go to is the helipad, and you do take shots on there as well. So it's on easy, it's not so important, but really what you want to try and do is just avoid taking any damage, really. And you can see both the guys are doing the safer strats there, where they're just in the top right hand corner where the forklift is. And what they do there is just, you can do a small pattern where it's just knocking on the wall and then walking around, and you'll never get caught, no alerts, and everything should be pretty smooth from there.
Right, so they could have both taken out the guards and gained an extra ration, but they chose not to do that, just as a guarantee to get up, right?
Yeah, there's no real reason to take that ration. You're not going to be saving any time by skipping, say, another ration further on in the run. There's no real reason to do it. I believe some people just do it because out of boredom, or just you've got 2.5 minutes to wait. So some guys just like to take out the guards and actually do something for the first part of the run. But there's not too much. You're never going to really gain any time in this area of the game, so it's pretty much just a waiting game.
Would you say the controllers are a little bit touchy on MGS1? That sometimes you can bump into the guard on accident as you're trying to choke them out?
Yeah, they can be, because it's a lot better if you use analog. I'm one of the guys who doesn't use analog, but the movement isn't particularly it's not like MGS2 where everything's really smooth. You do often get a couple of funny movement, shall I say. So it's best just to play safe and make sure that you don't catch any alerts. And both the guys just got out there no problem.
And it looked like Tyler didn't do the knock on the guard down the elevator.
No, he took an even safer strat, which you only save about 2 seconds with the guard jumping off the elevator. It's not a huge time save, but also it looks quite good to the casual player as well, watching the guard jump off the elevator.
And going across the helipad, both these guys are expected to run right underneath that spotlight.
Yeah, straight away, because there's no real need on easy. There's some runs that people watch quite often is big boss extreme runs where there's certain credentials that need to be met, where you can't kill too many guards, you can't get too many alerts. But when you're running easy, all you want to do is just try and get there as fast as possible. Like you see in Tromboncino just done there, you want to pick up a chaff grenade and just to make a quick dart for the hole. That's all you really want to do. Like you can see now, you take a couple of shots here, which can lose you a few seconds. As you see, Tromboncino's got quite far ahead there now. Just maybe it's 10 seconds, just because Tyler got shot 3 times there in the helipad. So
yeah, it looked like he might have fumbled with some of that menu in it as well.
Yeah. Then straight away, there's 10 seconds, just because nothing really that Tyler could have done. You can dodge those bullet shots, but it's not really something that you can do consistently. So if you get shot once, then it's that delay that Snake has, where he'll stop in reaction to being shot, and then again you can shot. There's 2 guards there, so he can get shot again, and it can be sort of like a loop.
That's just kind of like the line that they're taking towards that guard, right? That they can sort of duck certain shots coming at him.
Yeah, especially if you use analog controls, you can kind of make a dart towards the guard and move slightly. Let's say Tromboncino's went with the riskier chaff grenade strat there, but he's got that no problem.
As Tyler is rolling the guard,
yeah,
so only saving 2 seconds, but so far, little optimizations that Tromboncino's used to these few seconds have added up to maybe 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I think by the experience of Tromboncino, I think we might say that's a risky strat, but the Tromboncino, that's kind of an everyday thing, casually, that you wouldn't think twice about. So
business as usual. We should mention that Tyler is probably more predominantly a MGS2 runner.
One of the best in the world now.
That's true.
But he
recently
does,
posted, I believe, somewhere in the 134s European Extreme, big boss rank.
He does have some very good times on MGS1 PC in the large skips category as well, Tyler.
Right, so he's not a total noob.
No,
MGS1 category, it's just the all boss categories is probably a little bit on his weaker side.
Yeah, I do know that he's done it before. It's not something brand new to Tyler, but it's not his forte, shall we say. But a very good runner nonetheless.
Where's the defining point of this run? Where do you think it's going to come first? Maybe tank?
I think both the guys will probably get tank. They should know the line. Tromboncino definitely does. I know he's got new strat actually, which we'll probably see now, which will save a couple of seconds. But I think Tyler knows well enough how to do the tank. But it only takes one small mistake, and then the tank could be. It's one of those things where if you miss the tank, you can start chasing it, and if one guy gets the dunk and they get the quick kill on the tank, the other guy's losing time very fast. So I think probably one of the most defining parts will be if you can get through Ocelot and tank, no problem. And then it's those when you get the Sniper Wolf MGS1. I believe that's quite the first turning point in the run, I think, because it's got quite a bit of randomness to the fight. So if she decides to hide behind the beam, you could lose a little bit of time there. But if you start getting good shots off and you get a quite fast kill, it's down to RNG. So I think that's the first turning point of the race.
As both runners finish up guard rush here, it looks like Trombon's only got six bullets. Is that going to be a problem for him?
I think 6 is enough. I think someone
went into that Ocelot fight. It looked like Tyler had 10 and Trombon's got 6.
Yeah, so
Tyler's to see whether or not he's going to grab an ammo pack going into this fight.
There's the thing about the fight, you do have quite a few ammo packs scattered around the fight, and Tromboncino might just take one shot at Ocelot, and then you have ammo in the top left-hand corner, which I think will probably be the easiest one for him to get. I think you might need more than 6. I think he needs 8. So,
right, I think 6 is cutting it pretty short. So we're gonna pay close attention to what he does here during this Ocelot fight as it just begins right now.
Yeah, I think he'll end up going.
Yeah, Pete to the top went ahead and took the ammo pack, and he did it quite elegantly.
Yeah, if you can make that movement where you can hit Ocelot, yeah, that's absolutely perfect the way that he's took that fight. So he's lost absolutely no time at all going for that pack.
Tyler is entering the Ocelot fight as the Trombone is exiting it.
Yeah, that was perfect.
A bit of a fumble and grabbed an ammo pack that he may not have needed. But he does appear to be executing the loop as he had planned.
Yeah,
that may have cost him an addition. These little seconds here and there, that may have cost him probably about 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shaky fight, but he got the loop eventually, and he was safe. So that's when the experience of Tromboncino, where he can execute that fight so perfectly there. And Tyler, whilst he still had a good fight, it was just a little bit slower. And now that these are the moments where Tromboncino can pull ahead, and it can be 5 seconds here, 10 seconds on the next split, 5 seconds on the next. So
I just noticed that Tromboncino is picking up just one box of grenades. He must be pretty confident in that toss going into this tank fight.
Yeah, it's one of those fights which I know he's put a lot of work in. I know he's put a lot of work in recently into trying to get faster strats for the tank. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to see this now.
Tyler, who I believe has already grabbed his grenades going into the Ocelot fight. I suppose it doesn't exactly matter when you grab the grenades, as long as you do so. Yeah,
it doesn't really. I think it's down to preference quite a lot. I like to try and grab the grenades before, and it's out the way. Then the guard patterns, the reason why you would grab them before and after, it's the guard pattern is the same. But if you grab the grenades afterwards, then the guard moves. But you can see as Tyler had dealt with the guard pattern no problem, as same as Tromboncino, he dealt with it no problem. It comes down to preference, really.
Maybe you could explain what Tyler just did there. This is all bosses, but he did the vent glitch to avoid the lasers.
Yeah, so if you play that game casually, you'll know that you'll have to call Meryl on the codec for that. So to do the vent glitch, which was the trick found by, I believe it was the Thrillness, where it's quite easy to pull off, and obviously it can save you quite a lot of time there.
Perfect tank by Trombone.
Yeah, that was perfect. So that was
actually a pretty good start by Tyler.
Yeah.
The first guard out. Let's see if you can get the second.
So they both took different ways to get the quick kill. But that
appears Tyler gets the second grenade, so
yeah.
2 for 2 on the tank. Good job on both their parts.
So you say Tromboncino's done what he's just found recently, which is a fast strat, where he's basically made, instead of trying to do the loop, as you've seen Tyler done the loop around the left-hand side, and then he's set up he ran it into the center, and went straight for the tank. So that's the line that pretty much everyone takes. But Tromboncino has been working on this new strat, which is pretty much he's cut out most of the long way around. He's pretty much found a line where you can go straight for the tank and saves quite a bit of time.
Very interesting, and he's not much of a streamer, so that's probably the first time we've got a good look at it.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen anyone do it in a run. Maybe he doesn't stream too often. Yeah, I believe he's got internet issues, so he doesn't stream very often. But I know that he does play this game pretty much all day, every day. By the sounds of things, he's doing a lot of research at the minute. And
I've certainly got my fingers crossed. At least at the moment, it appears that both are having very good internet connections so far.
Yeah, so far so good.
Trombon sends the Nikita down the hallway to take out the control panel.
Tyler hasn't made any mistakes yet, but it's like we discussed before. Tromboncino's just done a few faster strats, and now he's a good 20-30 seconds ahead.
Well, Tyler's giving himself a chance.
Yeah, this is what he needs to do.
What he's hoping is potentially a mistake. Some of these tougher strats can choke him up.
Yeah, there's a lot of places where not even going for faster strats, like say if the Sniper Wolf fights, both of them, they can often come down to RNG in the way that Sniper Wolf moves. You can easily lose between 10 seconds and a minute just by having a bad fight, by not doing anything particularly wrong. You just have a bad fight. So there's still lots of turning points. So even if Tyler carries on the way that he does and doesn't make any major mistakes, still easily within a shout of winning this.
I would say Tyler's probably about 30 seconds behind, maybe 25 or so.
Yeah.
But going into this ninja fight, what are these guys going to be faced with as far as strategy?
The strategy it's pretty simple. The way the strategy goes, it's how you would how much you would fight him like this casually. Really, a lot of people when they casually play the game throw the chaff grenades to stun the ninja, but it's basically trying to get the punch kick combo. Then ninja will move, do a flip, and he never really attacks fast enough. If you're quick enough to get to the ninja in time, you'll always get the punch kick off in easy, especially. You'll always get the combo off. So what you want to try and do is just track his movement, make sure that you don't make any mistakes, don't let the ninja attack, and it's quite straightforward.
The way that they do this, there's no special tricks involved in this, other than maybe your positioning to manipulate the type of attacks that the ninja is going to be using on you. It looks like they both kind of stay in that narrow portion between the two desks.
It's the best way because that's the shortest movement is where he is right now, so you can only really go two ways. Whereas if you're in like the open plane on the left hand side, you can kind of move about a lot more, so you've got a lot more direction to try and track him. But as you can see how Tyler's done this and Tromboncino's done it, if he stays in that one small hallway, he can only go back and forward, so it's easy to track.
That range on the ninja's roundhouse kick is pretty nasty.
Yeah. If you're late, you can catch it pretty good.
It seems like they're both doing their best to avoid allowing him to execute that kick.
Yeah, it was so far they both had good fights. So Tromboncino also has a strat now, which is a quicker way to kill him. As you'll see now, he tries to get the punch kick combo before he does the vanishing animation. So if he can get this off, get the quick kill, which he has. Fantastic fight by Tromboncino.
A very slight optimization, but that can save him potentially a few seconds during this fight, right?
Yeah, so you should be doing what would normally happen, you might say at Tyler's stream where, Tyler's went for it. So what you'll do if you stand close to him, you'll vanish, you'll move, and then you just loop around and then you hit him that way. So Tyler's doing it as well. So you can just move a couple of, just ahead of him, and then before he tries to do the vanishing animation, you can hit him before he does that, and then you get a quicker kill.
Tyler's just wrapping up the ninja fight.
See,
Trombon's mashing his way through a fairly lengthy amount of cutscenes. This is when you first meet Otacon in the game.
Yeah, this comes down to, again, it's a long waiting period, but if you've, like Tyler's just done now, he's had a pretty good fight. He got hit once by the ninja, and that's just cost him again another 10 seconds or so. Maybe it's 5 seconds on the fight. So Tromboncino's going into this, these long cutscenes, and he's got quite a healthy lead now, but anything can happen still.
Now, unlike some of the other games in the series where you can just press triangle and codex will run through as fast as they can, MGS1, you actually have to mash each and every individual codec screen. Does the amount of not everybody mashes as fast as somebody else. Does mashing matter in MGS1?
It does. It does. It really does. If you're good at mashing, you can save quite a lot of time just going through the codecs. There's one codec call which you get, which is between the Colonel and Naomi when you're in the torture cell. And it goes on, it's the longest one in the game, and it goes on for so long. And if you're fast at mashing, you can save a lot of time there, because a lot of guys, I know it happened when I started playing, if you're mashing through as fast as you can actually, it can get quite painful towards the end. You can get cramp and all sorts. So it's if you're good at mashing and you can get that down nice and consistent, then it does save you a few seconds through the run.
Turbo controllers are not allowed
No.
in MGS1 as far as people who want to submit official speedruns. But it has been proven just in the past to save you some time during these lengthy mashing scenes.
Okay, let's go. I know this place better than you.
I'd say the next particular scene that we should be keeping an eye on is Tromboncino's armory strat as he goes to pick up the PSG-1.
Yeah, he's got the next fight that's coming up right now is the Psycho Mantis fight, and there is a couple of quick ways to kill Psycho Mantis. There's a new thing that was discovered recently called the phase skip, which requires you to hit Psycho Mantis 8 times, and once you hit him 8 times, you then throw a grenade, and that'll skip the first phase where Meryl gets up and then goes to shoot herself. What you do, if you throw the grenade and you get that quickly, it skips that phase, so it's not really a difficult strat to do, but it can be the difference between excellent Psycho Mantis fight and just a good one. So it'll be interesting to see who can get it.
Trombon used somewhat of an optimization at the very beginning of this Psycho Mantis fight, where he punches Meryl and then sort of inches his way forward to skip a scene where she I believe she runs forward, correct?
Yeah, it's a couple of seconds time save. It's something that's not done very often, but Tromboncino obviously has done a lot of work and he knows he can do it, no problem.
Yep, it looks like they both got the optimization for the Meryl cutscene.
Yeah, so far so good for Tromboncino as well. Opting to go for the soak arm instead of the FAMAS, which is down to preference really, but
all bullets kill and all bullets deal damage.
Yeah, the one FAMAS bullet and one soak arm bullet deals the exact same damage, so there's no real difference. As you can see there, Tromboncino got the phase skip, which does save quite a bit.
So we'll watch Tyler and see if Tyler can get it as well. Now, immediately after the Psycho Manus fight, there's a little bit of a trick that these guys are going to be using to get through the snowfield, right?
Yes, there's it's doing the event glitch again, which will put you on top of the area that you have to crawl under, and then you start to get to the area where the wolves are. But if you get on top of the scene, you can put on the cardboard box and edge your way to the left-hand side of the wall, and it clips you through. So then you can just circle all the way around, so you got no interaction with the wolves, and you do save quite a bit of time there.
It's like Trombone's got it. Not a typical vent glitch here, in that they have to use the box to push themselves out of bounds, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. You can't do it without the cardboard box, as far as I'm aware. But Tromboncino's having an extremely good run up to now.
Yeah, Tyler's going to have to hope for a mistake, either in the armory, picking up the PSG1. I realize I mentioned that a little bit early. Ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But also maybe during the sniper wolf fight, which is still a difficult fight, even on the easy difficulty.
Yeah, it is. You can end up losing, quite a bit of time just if Sniper Wolf goes behind the pillar, she can end up staying there for quite a bit. But if what Tromboncino is especially good at is what you call juggling, where you would hit Sniper Wolf, and then she would move, and then you can hit her with another bullet as she's moving before she stopped and pulls out the rifle to try and shoot you. If you can hit her with a bullet while she's running, then often you can kind of just go shot for shot, and then she'll not settle, she'll not go behind the pillar, and then you can end up getting quite a fast kill. So I know Tromboncino's good at this. So if
Let's see if Tyler executes the OOB correctly. Yep, looks like he got it. Problems there.
So again, Tyler's doing well at the minute. He's having a good run. Nothing particularly amazing, but like we said, he's not making any mistakes, so he's still within touching distance of Tromboncino, but I think he has to rely on Tromboncino to make quite a significant mistake.
Right. Tyler's doing a pretty good job of giving himself a chance.
Yeah.
For a guy moonlighting in a different category, I think he's doing probably even above what he was expecting.
Yeah, he's having a good run so far. So far, Tromboncino's pretty much having a perfect run as far as I'm concerned. I don't think he's made any errors at all. Not even any small mistakes so far. He's used quick strats and everything, and so far he's had a really good run.
Yeah, I'd say the only difference between these two runs is that Tromboncino's hit all the optimizations.
Yeah.
Tyler's used a few safe strats here and there.
It'll be interesting to see if Tromboncino carries on doing these the faster strats. Not the stuff that he's done hasn't particularly been risky so far, but if he can keep doing these optimal strats and he doesn't make any mistakes, they say it could be 5 seconds at one split, 10 seconds the next. They do add up, and it does add up quite fast as well.
Now I had spoken to Trombone before the race started, and because of his internet connection, he's not got Discord pulled up. He closes out all his programs, so he's not able to listen in on any of these conversations that either we're having or Tyler and the rest of the guys in MGS1 are having over in the lounge. So he may not know exactly where Tyler is.
Yeah,
so he might say that he's running with his tail tucked.
Yeah, so far it's a very high quality run by Tromboncino and by Tyler as well.
Also impressive too. I don't believe Trombone is much of a racer, and maybe you can explain to us the difference between it being a speedrunner and being a speedrun racer.
The difference is basically the reset button.
Exactly.
If you just want to do PBs all day, the reset button's always there to save you. But if you're doing races there's going to be times where you do make mistakes. You're never going to have that perfect run every single time, so you're going to make mistakes. You've got to have backup strats, and you've got to have different ways to do it. Maybe even save strats. So it's that's the difference really. You've got to kind of know backups. So it's tough to learn everything about the game. But if you know a lot about the game, you stand a very good chance.
As Trombone goes through the armory.
Yeah, so he's took the safe way there. You can do a faster, a slight optimization where you knock on the wall and do a quick throw, so the guard will come around the corner very sharply. And then if you do the quick throw, yeah, you do save some time, but it's very, very risky. It's one of those near frame perfect, I would have thought, to try and get that trick. So he's went for a safer strat, and it's worked out quite well.
Out of all the places you could probably do it, that's probably the place I would do it.
Yeah.
Tyler makes his way across the snowfield. Oh, and he gets caught up on a claymore. That line is pretty particular, isn't it?
Yeah, he took the line, by the looks of things, he took it a little bit too sharply. He's took it the wrong way. So what you want to do is you want to end up in the center of the snowfield. So when he was coming down the snowfield there, it was a bit too much of a drastic turn. And then if you get off the center line, then you're going to run into the claymores. And then once you hit one claymore, then you get up. You kind of you're out of line again. So then trying to correct yourself, you can possibly run into another claymore as Tyler done. So it's one of those ones where you want to try and get that line pretty. You want to get it down because you do save a lot of time by just having a nice clean run down the snowfield.
As Tyler makes his way through the armory. Like the lasers didn't get him this time. So very good for Tyler.
Yeah,
that was the safer strat, but still those lasers are quite difficult to get under.
Like we saw yesterday, a race yesterday where Apple's had a very good run, but one of the mistakes he did make was in the armory, and it did cost him, let's say 20 to 30 seconds just by making the slight mistake of triggering the alarms off. So if you can play
very
it
interesting
safe,
right now.
yeah.
Trombone having a tough time getting OOB snowfield.
Yeah, that's going to lose.
I'm not going to say that's going to be a deal breaker for him. Didn't cost him any continues, but he did have a little bit of a struggle getting out of bounds there.
That's the stuff that Tyler needs to hope. He's having a little bit of a struggle himself going through the snowfield, but if Tromboncino fails to do that one trick, then Tromboncino's just lost 10 seconds there. But that's the kind of the thing that Tyler needs to hope happens a little bit more often.
And Tromboncino did make it through, and he's in the sniper wolf fight now. Using a little bit of a strategy here with a sniper rifle. Maybe you can explain it to us.
Yeah, so if you play the game, normally what you would do is you get, I can't even pronounce the name of the pills that you get.
Pentazamin, maybe could be MGS2.
That's the one. No, that's the same. It's the same. So what that does is stops the sniper scope from shaking. But the way that you can stop it from shaking is just by loading and reloading, equipping and unequipping. So that stops it. When the sniper scope starts to shake, is a couple of seconds into aiming. So if you can constantly equip and unequip, then the shaking animation doesn't stop.
Like Trombone had a pretty good sniper wolf fight.
Yeah, that was a pretty standard fight. As you saw, he got shot. He did get shot straight away, so that puts the sniper wolf in the position where she could run behind the pillar. And it's not something that you can really control, but there's 10-15 seconds there which could have been trimmed off the time. Again, if Tyler has a really good fight, then he could just claw back an extra 5 seconds here, which might not sound like much, but if he keeps making up those few seconds every time, every split, you can make a headway into the race.
Of course, Trombone is submitting to the torture. That is going to be the fastest way through this game. Is going to be the Otacon ending.
Oh, it looks like Tyler's having a pretty good sniper wolf fight here as well. He's low on ammo.
Low on ammo, and it looks like she got behind that pillar on him.
As you can see, so it's about 10-15 seconds.
Now, in this cell, you would think that you just stand there, right? Is there any sort of strats that that can help speed up the time in the cell while you're waiting?
No, there's been talk about Johnny's movement, where Johnny is the guard outside and he sneezes. In the belief, when every time he sneezes, he wastes time. But if you knock on the wall or make any sort of movement, like punch kick combos, Johnny will start talking and not sneeze. So there's been talk about there's possible ways to save a little bit of time there, but you're not going to be saving any sort of major significant time.
I do believe I've heard that that argument before, but what about after he comes back from the bathroom and the guys go under the bed?
That trick is for large skips. On all bosses, with large skips, you come into the torture, basically a scene, like a sequence, the scene after the one that you're seeing now. So you get a different codec call. So when you'll see the next person to come out, it's after this codec call, then Johnny will then go to the toilet, and then Otacon comes out. But in large skips, there's a small difference where you take a different codec call and you go under the bed. So when the guard walks around, you'll notice that you're underneath the bed, and instead of going through a little speech, you'll notice that you're under the bed and you can climb out, and then it triggers like an alert, so then it skips that speech. So again, it's pretty much you're on a timer when you're in the torture room, and
there's so in all bosses, there's just nothing you can do to speed this up.
No, large skips, there's small optimizations, but on all bosses, you're just in a waiting game. It's quite similar when you're in the docks at the start. You're pretty much on a clock, so you just have to wait.
Otacon comes to get Trombone out of the cell.
Oh, jeez. He's coming back. See you later.
The positioning that he's going to use to choke out Johnny is pretty particular as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you lie down on the floor, you can have the snake's body, so it's pretty much halfway through the door, as you can see, which that's a good optimization, because as soon as Johnny opens up the door, what happens is you can just stand up, just press X and stand up, and then you're in perfect position to start choking. So as soon as you'll see now the door will open, Tromboncino will then get Snake to stand up, and you'll start choking him immediately.
Fantastic. Described it almost exactly as it was happening. Just so the viewers out there, you have to understand that Toma is on a bit of a delay, so what he sees is pretty much what you guys are seeing. By the time what he says gets to you guys, it has about a 15-second delay. I thought that was fantastic as far as the description went there.
So it's pretty much backtracking now for Tromboncino as he makes his way through the snowfield again and gets to the nuke building. There's quite a lot of the next part is the tower climb, which happens after you do all your backtracking. It's the next major part in the game where you can save a lot of time by having a good tower climb.
Good tower climb would probably minimize the amount of time that you're getting shot and dealing with damage boost on your way up, correct?
Yeah, so you if you route the game out correctly, you should have quite a lot of stun grenades in all bosses, and that's the key, really. to having a good tower climb. So you need to be able to throw the stun grenades, you need to know when you need to throw them, space them out correctly, and then you should minimize the damage. Really, you should only be quick throwing a couple of guards, and hopefully you shouldn't get shot by any of them. But again, it's not particularly random. All the guard patterns are set, but if you miss a stun grenade, if you don't time the stun grenade correctly, then you can kind of get out of sync a little bit, and it can start losing you some time if you start getting shot.
Tyler's finally been released from the cell. Trombone is making his way to the stair climb. So far, both runners, no mistakes. It's a slightly better and more optimized run out of Trombone.
Yeah, I'd say there's about 45 seconds difference, but that 45 seconds difference could even just be made up just by the end game where the rat who has the power card, he could be hiding for Tromboncino and he could lose 45 seconds there, no problem. So it's not, the race might look like there's quite a distance between the two guys, but it's still very much on.
Tyler's certainly hoping for perfect rat, or god rat as some folks will call it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if it's a god rat, then you can pretty much just get on with it, hit the stinger missile, get the pal card, and then get on with the end part of the run. But then if you're trying to chase that rat around, and you can't stand to lose quite a lot of time. So it's one of the only bits of the run now which is pure RNG. So it can be, the difference between Tromboncino, going ahead and being a minute or 45 seconds ahead to the very end, or it could be the difference between Tyler, getting that time back by him having the guard rat and then Tromboncino having a bad one.
Trombone's making his way to the base of the stairs. He's going to throw a stun grenade through this door. What exactly is that, the reasoning behind that?
So, if you play the game casually, you would just walk straight through the door. Then there is a camera which is above the door, and that'll start an alert. What you can do, just make sure, Tromboncino gets it. So, you throw the stun grenade whilst the door's opening. Then the stun grenade going off will set the camera off, which then makes you able to walk through that door, and then that cutscene is pretty much invalid. But there's already an alert, so you can just run straight through the door, and then you can skip that cutscene. The cutscene's only a short one. Let's say it's about 7-8 seconds, but it's quite a nice optimization if you can get it. It is hard. It's quite hard to do. There is timing down to it, so it's not a free.
Right, that stun grenade's got to be cooked before you let go of it.
Yes, yeah. You start cooking the stun grenade when you hit the second SOCOM ammo box.
Trombone takes a little bit of damage boost. Now he's counting these staircases as far as when he needs to throw his stun grenades.
Some guys count the stairs. Some guys just count. They'll have visual cues. So for what I do is I throw a stun grenade every time I see the visual cues. So some of my cues when the guards are on the floor, if I pass one of the guards on the floor, then I throw a stun grenade rather than counting the stairs going up. There is visual cues that you can pick up on, but I believe most people just count the stairs. Tromboncino got hit. That's one of the quick throws that you really want to get, which is the last guard that comes down, which is really hard to gauge how quick he comes down and what angle he comes down. So if he hits you, you hit the floor and then you lose 5 seconds there.
Now, the quick throw is not a built-in feature of the game, is it?
No, it's the throw that you do by pressing square. It's quite a slow animation, but what you can do is equip and unequip the grenade or any item. You can equip them fast, and then what happens is it cancels the animation of the throw, and then you can just carry on as you were. It's a small optimization.
It looked like Trombone got knocked down once and maybe took at least one damage boost. during that stair
Yeah.
climb. Tyler makes his way up the stairs. Any particular fast strats you can use for this rope ascent?
There's the fastest way to do it is basically you use the beam to run down. I think you probably see Tromboncino do it. So after he takes the codec call, he'll be running down the beam, and then he'll be ascending that way.
Now, as he runs down that beam, he's taking some smoke damage. This has to be a strat designed for easy or maybe normal runs, right?
Yeah, it's not something that you would do in extreme. Getting hit by the steam doesn't really give much damage. It doesn't really stop you. You don't lose too much time. So Tromboncino's done that perfectly. It's pretty much how the inputs are the same all the way down. So you are going to get hit by steam, but it should be fine.
Paying close attention to the catwalk strat that Trombone's using here. Looks like he executed it perfectly. Oh, got knocked down by what it looked like was his... right as he was approaching the guards. Nearly perfect.
Yeah. That can happen. Yeah, what you don't want to see is when you're trying to do the catwalk by throwing the 2 stun grenades. What you don't want to see is you don't want to get hit, because if you get hit by a bullet, when you maybe halfway up the catwalk, what happens is it's hard then, because you've got 3 guards shooting at you at the same time. What can happen if you keep getting hit and you can't throw a stun grenade? You can just end up, getting hit, getting knocked down, getting up, getting hit, and getting knocked down, and you will make it to the end eventually, but it will take a lot of time.
Right, on easy, health is really not much of a concern. Maybe on extreme or potentially even normal, that could possibly cause a continue screen.
Yeah, it's on extreme. It's if you miss that, it's going to be difficult.
Tyler's currently doing his ascent. Like he's using the same strat of running down the beams.
Yeah. So even though it's just a small optimization, it's not a risky strat or anything. So, Tyler, he's playing the game well right now, but Tromboncino is just he's pretty much stepped it up a notch. He's on another level really. He's having the way he's going at the minute. 45 minutes into the race, this is an extremely good run. Extremely good run.
Yeah, so far neither of the runners have made any continues yet.
No, there's been no major mistakes by either.
Trombone is definitely showing his experience in this category over Tyler, who's predominantly an MGS2 runner. He does dabble in the large skip category, but I don't think I've seen him do a whole bunch of all boss runs.
No, but he does. I've raced Tyler before in all bosses, and he put down some good times. So it's not something that he takes extremely seriously. He does run the category, and I do believe that large skips on the PCs what he specializes in Metal Gear Solid 1. But he's not, he's no amateur at running the game. He's very good at running the game.
We talked about Apples yesterday being relatively new to running MGS and a quick learner. And I'd say that's probably safe to say about Tyler as well. This time last year, Tyler wasn't speedrunning anything. I believe what he told me was got into speedrunning MGS2 after watching Jaguar at AGDQ last January.
For him to come on the way he has, and especially in Metal Gear Solid 2, is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, he's set a mark that's going to be very difficult to beat in both the large skip, or excuse me, the loading trick and non-loading trick categories of MGS2. Well, several of the other lower difficulties, including normal and even PC. So this guy kind of has his hands on a lot of things. We're recently taking a break from speedrunning MGS2, MGS in general. Tyler spent some time learning Life is Strange. I believe he placed third on the current speedrun boards, most recent run. So just to show you how much of a quick learner he is, he can pick something up and get in the top 3 on just about anything he wants.
So Tromboncino having a very good hind fight here as well. He's done a slightly different strategy to what some runners do, especially me. I don't do the way that Tromboncino does there, where he pretty much just stays right in front of the hind in the first phase, and he gets a lot of shots off early as well. So he's had an extremely good run so far. 48 minutes in, and he's defeated the hind. It's crazy at the minute. He's got some very fast strats that not everybody uses as well. So he's definitely one of the strongest MGS1 runners we have at the minute.
What would you say the chances are of a PB race?
I believe they're both playing on Integral, and I think they've both agreed that they can skip the cutscene at the end. So if that's the case, if they do skip the liquid cutscene at the end, which you can do on Integral, Tromboncino's well on track. He could even be on track for a world record here. He's on absolutely insane pace at the minute.
Do you know the normal category that he plays in? Is it easy or is it on extreme?
He plays a lot of the stuff that he's just really started taking up. He runs the PC game quite a lot, and he runs all different difficulties. He's done runs on extreme. He does all bosses. I haven't seen a large skips run yet, so he plays on all the difficulties. But at the minute, I know he's been grinding, new strats for easy. It's different sort of manipulations and different techniques that he's been working on have all been for easy. So I know he's put a lot of time into this category quite recently.
Yeah, the leaderboards for easy have moved quite a bit the last 6 months or so. A category that most runners haven't touched over the years.
Yeah, it's predominantly been large skips over the years, but all bosses, I think a lot of people would say it's the more interesting category to run, because you do get to see the whole game, and you get to see what people, to the casual people watching, the most nostalgic thing about the game is the bosses. So I think it's a little bit more of an exciting category, especially when you're racing as well, because there's so many things that can go wrong or can lose your time. So I do believe it's the more interesting of the two categories.
Right, large skips, you pretty much skip every boss on the first disc.
Yeah,
and as far as it goes, I'm sure the rat sides pretty much every run that you're in.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what it comes down to. When all bosses, there's a lot of different variables which can define a good run or a good race. So at the minute, you can see now Tyler's having a little bit of trouble with the hind. What can happen with the hind? You can get them stuck in a loop that Tromboncino done, where you pretty much standing underneath the hind and you're just firing stinger missiles, and it'll kind of stay in that loop. You can get out of it, I believe. But what happens, as you can see now with Tyler, as soon as it gets out of that loop and then it goes underneath and you can't fire at the hind, you lose lots of time. This is the difference between... It could be a minute's difference now that Tyler's... He may have just lost a minute just by... I don't believe you can class it as RNG. I think you just have to be quick and just have to get in the right position. But it's one of those things where in all bosses it can change a lot.
Yeah, that helicopter was below the deck for quite a while there. I wouldn't be surprised if that cost Tyler over a minute.
Yeah, it could be. It could very well be.
As we see Trombon going through the second Sniper Wolf fight.
So he's went for a little bit of a different strategy here. Normally what you would do is you try and go into that fight with as many stinger missiles as possible, because you can hit Wolf behind the trees. with the Stinger missiles, but looks like Tromboncino is confident enough just using the PSG-1 and trying to juggle Sniper Wolf. He's having a very good fight so far. That's, fantastic fight by Tromboncino. He's playing extremely well at the minute.
Say he's pretty much in cruise control.
Well, I can tell you now, Tromboncino is actually on world record pace here.
We could see a world record in this tournament today.
Yeah,
Absolutely incredible.
He's running against my world record pace here, so I have my splits up in front so I can see where he is, and he's ahead. So everyone thought that emulator, you would hit the wall on emulator because of the loading times that you have. If you have a PS2 with fast disk speed, then the loading times between cutscenes are a lot better. And nobody believed that you could get kind of the 130 mark. People didn't really think you'd get a 132 in this category, but as you can see, Tromboncino is actually on pace right now for sub 130. So he's got some.
Takes out the crane, the Stinger. Pretty much eliminate any sort of RNG you would have to deal with that crane.
Yeah. So he's got some strats that not everybody uses right now. He's pretty much ahead of the game, and he's really is trying to make 130 not only possible but quite likely if he keeps running like this.
I wouldn't say Trombon's a household name. He's got 7 followers on his Twitch page, so we don't really get to take a look at his runs other than what he has recorded. And so I think this is pretty special. We're watching a live run on world record pace.
Yeah, the problem Tromboncino has with streaming is that he doesn't get very good internet connections, so he's just recently, for what we've seen from Tromboncino was just YouTube videos, and we've only just recently started seeing them. But now he's in the community with us within the Discord, and then he's starting to stream a lot more now. He's only just doing it recently, but we'll get to actually see how good this guy really is, because is for the statement I made to Tromboncino when I first saw him run was, you could be the guy who could get to Slade's type of level. And people
I was just going to say,
Slade,
it feels like I'm watching Slade.
Yeah, people who know who Slade is, he's like godfather of Metal Gear Solid 1. And the rest of the Metal Gear Solid games, he's kind of on that elite level. And the way that Tromboncino plays, he can be on that level. He really can. He's got so much experience in the game, but we just don't have experience in watching him.
Yeah, so really a first look for a lot of us at Tromboncino. I'd say so far he's not disappointing. I really can't find too many flaws in his run. He's gone for pretty much every optimization that he could, except for maybe in the armory getting the PSG-1. It looked like he had problems getting OOB one of the times going through the snowfield. Got knocked down on the catwalk, and also during the stair climb. But other than that, literally a flawless run.
Yeah, these mistakes that we're talking about as well, these aren't big mistakes. These are 5-second mistakes. So, it's as you can see, Tyler's had a good Sniper Wolf fight. The Tromboncino just had like an insanely good fight. So it's just the difference between the two is Tromboncino's he's kind of got that elite level. He's even doing a strat now, which I think he's just came up with, which is a faster Raven fight as well. So some of these strats that you see now, they're quite recent. I think he's really going to help the community, the Metal Gear Solid 1 community, push the times down as well, because I think there's a lot of people going to be watching this run, and they're going to be implementing the strats that he uses, and even just the way he moves. I think a lot of people will be implementing that. Sorry. He'll be implementing that, and then they'll be pushing their times down, and then Tromboncino will obviously be getting better as well.
Right, we had heard rumors earlier in the week that he had some stuff that he was saving for this race.
Yeah.
So far, we've gotten a look at a few of those.
Some of the stuff that he does is just. I think a lot of the guys, especially myself, if you run different categories, you kind of stick to, strats that work through they'll work it easy, they'll work in normal, they might work in difficulty. And I think Tromboncino, what he's done is he's found a few specific strats and techniques which are actually specific to easy, and he's saving those 5 seconds here, the 10 seconds, the next split. He's really optimizing the category. I think he can get 130 in this run, possibly even sub 130. And I think if he gets the Japanese PS2 with fast disk speed, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at him trying to get the 128, which is pretty much, a perfect run.
So as he's making his way up to get the PAL card key, something really important coming up here with the rat. And could getting a bad rat push him off of world record pace?
It can, yes. So the splits that I'm looking at is the world record splits, and I don't believe that it's God Rat on the world record splits. I might be wrong in this, but it was a good one. But what can happen is the rat can stay hidden pretty much. It's if you miss a stinger missile shot as well, then go back in the sewers and you can lose a lot of time. So pretty much Tromboncino, what he wants here is just he wants a normal one. He wants either the God Rat or the normal one. He doesn't want to be trying to chase the rat. He doesn't want to try and lose time here. So as long as he gets a decent rat, he's easily on pace here.
I'm kind of curious too. I don't imagine he's recording this run like he normally would. I think we had talked about him maxing out his internet connection and his CPU power earlier. I'm curious whether or not he could submit this video.
It'll be crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And we obviously have mods here in chat who could probably answer that for us, but I really don't see why not.
Yeah. It'll be for someone who's this is his first Metal Gear Solid 1 race. I believe it's his first race ever racing speedrunning the game. So for him to be on this pace is crazy.
Yeah, we had mentioned earlier that racing is not like speedrunning. They are both technically speedrunning, but you hear people who go to AGDQ and they talk about marathon strats. Marathon strats is a different way of saying safe strats. You don't want to soft lock your game in front of 150,000 people. And so sometimes you will use marathon strats, and they also apply to racing as well. Where soft locking during a race would pretty much ruin your chances of finishing altogether.
Yeah, so Tromboncino hasn't. He's just went for quick strats, which he's nailed every single one of them. So he's on world record pace yet, and it's not like he's had to do anything. It's nothing game. He hasn't had to do anything game. So as you can see,
it does look like he did not get perfect rat.
He did not.
We'll see. We'll have to see how this adds up according to your splits.
So right now that wasn't too bad. So that's not what I call the first position that Tromboncino in. That was the God Rat, and I call the one that he just got there was the Good Rat. So he's just got the Good Rat where the time loss isn't hugely damaging. So if you look at the world record splits now, if when he enters the yellow PAL, you are on 1 minute and 1 hour and 2 minutes exactly. So he's slightly off the pace, but he can still definitely do this.
Now remember, the timer that you guys see on screen is not official.
Yeah, so the world record is also, it's always on the in-game timer at the end. So the splits, they're there for the viewer to see, and for the runner to see how well he's doing, but the actual time that counts when it comes to the world records or submitting a PB, they are always in-game time.
So submitting the yellow card, it looked like he was 102.30.
Yeah, which, there could be a little bit of delay. There could, the timer might not be exactly correct, but he's slightly off the pace, but this can so easily be world record still.
Yeah, it's, like you said, official timer is the in-game time. These guys are also racing on speedruns live, so as far as a close race goes, that's going to be their official timer as far as real time goes, RTA.
So even like the strat that Tromboncino did there, where he's used the Suicom to take out the guard, whether that's a huge difference, I would have to time that myself. But that little strat there, I can tell that strat is slightly faster than the strat you would normally do, which is with the noise cancelling with the weapon or grenade in hand. So he's just ignored the noise cancelling strat and he's just went straight in and killed the guard. So what he's done there, that might only save maybe he's a second, maybe it's not even a second, but what he's done there, he's just optimized a part of the game where I believe nobody really even looked at that as that's a slow part, but Tromboncino's looked at that and thought, well, I can still do this quicker. He's optimized a part that people haven't really looked into. So these are the sort of things where he's really going to start, elevating himself to that next level where he's got strats that he's doing, which may only save, a split second here and there, but it could be the difference between first and second place on the leaderboards.
Well, we saw just on this race leading up to tank, what little optimizations, 5 seconds here, 3 seconds there, 2 seconds there, did for Tronbon leading up to the tank. It does add up over the course of the game.
Yeah, so Tyler didn't really make any mistakes. The only thing that Tyler's really done wrong in this race, and it wasn't really his fault, was the hind fight. So he's lost about a minute there, which isn't really his fault, but even that, if he had a perfect hind fight, he would still be, let's say 45 seconds, maybe even a minute behind Tromboncino, just because he's using these strats that maybe Tyler hasn't seen, because I know I haven't seen a lot of the strats Tromboncino's using. So he's just pulling away, making, like I say, 2 seconds here, 3 seconds here, 5 seconds here. You see, he's having a little bit of trouble now when he's checking the PAL key, where he's messed up with the timer a little bit, but it's a good job that he checked rather than just running straight out, because that could have lost him a lot of time.
We wait to find out whether or not Tyler gets a perfect rat. Nope. If he gets good rat. Say that's good rat. A little bit different there. The rat still appeared in front of him. It just took a little bit longer to come through that
yeah.
tunnel.
So that's probably still a little bit faster than what Tromboncino had to do. It was being down in that ditch is where you want it to be, but you want it to be there as soon as you equip the stinger, and as soon as you look down the sight, you want the rat to be there. But if it takes 10 seconds, 5 seconds to come out, then it's still a good rat. It's a good rat.
Two different good rats, but they're still better than bad rat.
Yes, yeah. At least both the guys weren't hunting around, and they both, they had no trouble. So right now, Tromboncino is about 40 seconds, I would say. Maybe he's 30 seconds off the pace of world record. So for a run, it's pretty hard to put into words. I try to describe, how well Tromboncino is actually doing this. This is just, there's no reset button here. He's just doing this now just as a race, and he's on absolutely incredible pace where most people would dream of trying to get a run like this on emulator. He's on absolutely fantastic pace.
He has to know that he's he's in the lead, and he's got a fairly good lead.
Yeah.
And for a guy with little racing experience, but a lot of speedrunning experience, he's still playing with his hair on fire, and I think that's particularly impressive.
Yeah, I hope that he carries on this attitude of aggressive, racing, because it makes for exciting. If I could watch Tromboncino race all the way through this tournament, and he's on world record pace every time going into the PAL key cards, we're going to see some absolutely fantastic runs by the man. So we want to see people try and play like this, and have those runs where it could be, a 129 or 130, 130. If people can get those sort of times in runs, then we're going to be in for a good tournament. And Tromboncino is not the only one who's actually capable of those times as well in this tournament.
Right, I'd say the top 3 on the leaderboard, they're all in this tournament.
Yeah. So myself, Plywood, and Copper Tank, all capable of very good times. Raichu as well is capable of very good times. So there's, if people keep aggressively racing, I've not really seen anyone play particularly safe. So if people keep racing with this sort of aggressive mentality where it's, trying to get the best time possible, I think we're going to be in for some really good matches.
Yeah, we've got Copper and Plywood going up against each other later this week in round 2.
Yeah, which should be great. So they basically leaderboards. They're about 5 seconds, I believe, the times off each other. So there's a little bit of difference. So there's 11 seconds difference between Plywood and Copper Tank, who both run on the US version on the PS2. So, incredible times for them guys to get 132 is fantastic running. So that's going to be a great race.
Trombone's making his way up the lift to heat the card. Not a lot standing in his way from this point on.
No, there's one error that can be made and has been made before, but you wouldn't be the first person to do it, which you can... A lot of runners, if they go for a PB attempt, what they'll do with the PAL keys when you are heating them up or when you are cooling them, what you do is you listen to audio cues, and you wouldn't even check if the card was... you wouldn't use a menu just to see if the card was actually cold or if it was hot. You would just leave the area. You would assume that it worked, and then you'd go straight to the PAL laptops or the PAL computers. So yeah, he could make a mistake. I believe he's probably going to play safe enough, and he's going to check the card. Because if he doesn't, and he runs straight out here, and he hasn't heated it up, and he makes it all the way back to the computer, and he realizes that the PAL key isn't the hot key, he's just lost 10 minutes, could be possibly 5
he
5 10
would
minutes.
lose the race too.
He would.
So.
Tyler would, if Tyler didn't make any mistakes, he would be back. He would catch him up for sure.
So it's about a minute, right, that he's going to be waiting.
I believe it's a minute or a minute and 1 second, I believe.
See what he does. Will he check the card?
I believe the hot key has a more prominent audio cue, so
He does check the card, indeed.
it's safe for a race. I'd be very surprised if you see many people, not check, because for the sake of 2 seconds, 2-3 seconds checking that card, you're best off being safe, especially in a racing environment where that mistake, it's such a small time loss. You're not really gaining much, but you can lose a lot. So I'll be very surprised if you see many people not checking the cards during the races.
Yeah, and as we were talking about yesterday, there's various ways to count down that time that you need to wait, whether you're looking at your own splits and adding a minute and 1 second, or maybe listening to a specific audio cue.
Yeah. So some guys, most guys will use the audio cue. Although you can use both. You can check the timer and make sure that the timer corresponds with the audio cue, and you can use that. But most people don't check the PAL keys.
Tyler makes his way up the lift to heat the card. Still a really good run. We haven't really pointed it out a whole bunch, but Tyler hasn't made any mistakes. It's just the subtle optimizations that Trombon's using to maintain this lead today.
Yeah, Tyler's still having a very good run here. It's the hind fight has hindered him slightly, and he's lost quite a lot of time there. But the run itself is actually a very, very good, very credible run. You know, this he's probably on pace for a high 130. I would have thought maybe it's 130, maybe it's a high 134, possibly 133. So he's on a great run. I believe, I don't know.
Tromboncino is mashing through the Naomi codec.
Yeah, which isn't a fun one. I think it's the second longest one in the game. It's not a fun one, especially towards the end of the run. So I'm not sure what Tyler's PB is in this category, but I believe he's probably quite close to the pace.
Yeah, he could be on PB pace. I've got his stream told up, but as per request, we ask the runners to keep their outputs clean, so no overlays or splits, clean audio feeds, so that we can give you guys a better presentation.
So really, there's nothing that's stopping Tromboncino. Even if Tromboncino drops the infinite liquid punch, I know that you can still pick up combos after it. He hasn't got any major time loss really coming up. So hopefully, yeah, he puts a clean run together and he gets a very nice time here.
I have a feeling they're both going to get the infinite punch.
I think they will. I think Tromboncino, he's been practicing it a lot. I know that he recently commented on the Discord, the Metal Gear Solid Run Discord, that Apple's metronomes helped him when it comes to timing the infinite punch for liquid. So he's got to have been practicing that all day today, I would have thought. So I'm quite confident Tromboncino will do it, and I know Tyler's done it many a time, especially on the PC version. So I'm quite confident both guys could get it. If they don't get it, I know that they'll at least get some good combos, and it'll not be much time lost.
Yeah, if you guys missed it yesterday, we were interviewing Apples after he won the first round yesterday, and we were talking about the infinite punch on liquid, and he told us about his metronome, and this kind of blew my mind. I'd never heard of anybody actually using a metronome, which is like a device that musicians use to stay in beat. And so he shared that with us on Discord and in the interview yesterday.
And it's one of those things as well where it's the difference between a really good run and having a great run is getting that infinite punch, and the little thing that Apple's made up, the metronome that Apple's made up is what helps you get that rhythm, and the rhythm's the hardest part. Keeping that rhythm's the hardest part. So that small, even though it's just a metronome, it's the specific beats. I believe it was 107 beats per minute. You just keeping to that. That's what can get you the infinite punch, and what can quite consistently get you a very good run. Now, it's one of those things at the end of the game where if you fail the infinite punch, and you're on PB pace, then you've lost your PB because it's that far at the end. It's that close to the end of the game. So
But
if
Liquid, during that infinite punch, Liquid could slip out if you go too fast and punch, kick. Or
Yeah.
if you go too slow, he could slip out as well. So having the perfect rhythm, which we've now recorded as 107 BPM, is pretty important.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty perfect fight as well from Tromboncino. So the first phase in Metal Gear was pretty perfect there. Opting to go for the chaff strat and making very light work of Rex. Again,
You know,
there's nothing.
this Rex strat looks a little unusual, as he's just standing there, taking damage as he shoots at Liquid.
Yeah. On easy, it's you've got enough rations there where you can just tank all the hits. You can just sit there underneath, and all you have to do really is the patterns are the same. Normally, if you're running around, then you can get different things happen. So the Rex also has a laser, which you don't see on easy if you do this strat, and you can also shoot the rockets more than one time. So you could do that 2 times in a row. So the pattern can vary. But if you just sit there with all the rations on and you just tank all the hits, he does the same rhythm every time. So you can get it down to a pretty much perfect time. As Tromboncino, he missed one shot there, but that one shot loses you about 3 seconds. So he's still on extremely good pace here, especially for emulator. It's something that should point out as well, the different versions of running the game. Emulator has a lot of difference when it comes to load time and lag. So while he might not be on a perfect world record run here, he's very close to it, and he probably would have world record if he was actually running on PS2 with fast disk speed. So that's something that I think everyone has to have in mind as well.
So if Tronbon had a copy of Integral on a Japanese PS2 with fast disk speed, he'd be untouchable, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'd be by far the fastest at the current time, especially like I say the splits that he's going up against. So when he hits this last punch, he'll probably be maybe a minute 20 or something behind. So he's done a couple of safe strats here, like checking the PAL keys. So has he got the infinite?
Looks like he's gonna get it.
Looks like he's got it. Yeah. So he's on fantastic pace here. He's not even on PS2 with a fast disk speed. He's done a few little safe strats here and there. Nothing major, but all these little things that he's done in the race, he probably wouldn't have done these PB attempts. So, he could easily get, let's say, like a low 128 time if he had a PS2 with fast disk speed. He's on absolutely insane pace here. To put it in perspective, actually, he might actually still be on world record pace here. This would be very, very close. Because you have to take into consideration that there's still delay. Yeah, there might not be, the official timer, the in-game timer might actually be a lot closer than 120. We're coming up to 121 here. The in-game timer, might be even better here. So he could still be on pace.
Right, as we mentioned before, the timer that you guys see on screen is unofficial. It may be a few seconds off here or there.
So he's very close. So I don't think like I said before, it's hard to put into context how fast this run actually is, especially on a race. Just for like say those little safe shots here and there, he's ran absolutely fantastically today.
Now, just a bit of a programming note. As per our current tradition, after these races, we expect to interview both racers. So, after the credits roll, it's worth sticking around. Know each one of these runners.
There's not too much to the escape here as well. You're pretty much just shooting Liquid as often as possible. Nothing too difficult about it. So Tromboncino is on world record pace here, I believe, or he's very, very close to it. So if he just has, an easy, nothing major happens in the escape here, it's going to be very interesting to see what the time is on the score screen.
Yeah, that is his official time. Is going to be in-game time.
This is it's amazing to see. Like, say, Tromboncino, for those who don't know, to people who maybe who aren't on the Metal Gear Solid Speedrunners Discord, he's played this game his whole life pretty much, but he's only just really come to everyone's attention in the Metal Gear Solid community only recently. So I mean, the way that he's playing now, this sort of standard that he's playing, we haven't seen this until recently, and he doesn't stream too much. He only just posts YouTube videos. So for people to see this in the run on the Metal Gear Speedrunners channel, it's absolutely fantastic to see. I think this will be literally a couple of seconds difference here. I think you might have the world record by about 5 seconds here.
Yeah, we're going to be paying real close attention to what this score screen says. And I think in the future, a lot of these guys who run this game are going to be looking back at this VOD and studying exactly what he was doing to get this run to happen.
As soon as this run ends, I'll be watching this VOD, because I believe, for those who don't know, the world record time is I'll just quickly check the in-game time. The in-game time is 1 hour, 30 minutes and 33 seconds. That's the world record, which I currently hold at the minute. But I play on PS2 with fast disk speed, so I've got an advantage over Tromboncino here. So this guy, not only is he at a disadvantage here, he's still, very close to world record here. It's going to be very close. A few seconds either way, I think.
Tyler wraps up the fight with Liquid. It looks like he did not get the infinite punch, but still a very good run for Tyler. I think he's going to be more than satisfied with his final time. Could very well be a PB for him as well.
They say he's missed the infinite here, but he's dodging punches and he's getting combos off. So if you do miss the infinite, what you want to try and do is get as many combos as possible, take as much life down as possible, and he's doing a good job of it's a good backup. I can only imagine what sort of times Tromboncino, as the tournament progresses, the more races he's going to have, the more time he'll probably invest in this category. Who's to say that he can't set a world record every time that he gets out in races? So this is great to watch. And for those who don't know, we'll have to sit through the cutscenes, the credits at the end, for about 6 minutes. So we don't actually get to see his official timer for another 5 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, every game that is speedrun has different ways of measuring the time, but the agreed way to measure the time on Metal Gear Solid 1 is game timer. So part of the speedrun is the credits. Some games are measured RTA, real-time attack, and usually the way that goes is as soon as you take control and as soon as you control, so the credits are not part of the measured speedrun. But, I think this song that they played during the credits is incredible, so getting to hear that after every speedrun, I think is pretty cool.
I imagine Tromboncino now listening to this song and then just wondering whether he's got world record here. It's, perfect, really. It's a nice way just to kind of relax and try and wind down after, especially a run like this. It's there's still the debate is there's still inputs, even though what we call the daylight split is when pretty much the game ends. You beat Liquid, that's pretty much where the game ends, but there's still input presses after the credits. So you have to you still have to press buttons, which means you're still playing the game technically after the credits roll. So that's why you have to pretty much you include the credits in with the time at the end. Yeah, and Tyler, let's not take anything away from Tyler here, because even though a lot about Tromboncino, he's had a world record pace run here, Tyler's had an absolutely fantastic run as well. Where if he was up against anyone else, apart from, the new MGS1 phenomenon that is Tromboncino, he probably would have won a race. He would have won his match. So it's just unlucky that he's came up against Tromboncino at this time.
Yeah, I don't think he was particularly happy after we did the bracket reveal.
Yeah, there's pretty much just two people that you want to avoid early on, which is Plywood, and you want to avoid Tromboncino as well. So to land Tromboncino or Plywood in your first match, it's hard work. It's hard work for the guys.
Tyler finishes up the escape,
which is a great run. So he is on course currently for about a 134, mid 134. So that's a great run. To put it into context, that 134 would put him, in fourth place in the leaderboard.
Top 5 on the leaderboards during a tournament run.
So he's got to be happy with that as well. So Tromboncino
for this particular category, I'd say we're pretty blessed to have the best runners participating in this tournament.
Yeah, the only shame, I believe, is not having Jaguar King Slade. Don't believe they would be interested in running all bosses easy, but them two are, again, fantastic Metal Gear Solid 1 runners. But they tend to play on harder difficulties, and they go for the big boss rank and the more extreme, literally the more extreme challenge.
Right. So yeah, two runners who are considered some of the best runners in this game are going to be Slade and Jaguar King, but of course Easy is not going to be either one of those guys' specialty, as they spend most of their time working in the extreme category.
Yeah, exactly. So Tromboncino at the minute he would be considered faster than Slade on Easy because he's put time into Easy, where Slade's put all of his time in extreme, all bosses, and getting big boss ranks. So whereas Tromboncino's getting a faster time than what Slade possibly would, doesn't mean that he can eclipse Slade in that way. It's two different types of runs within the same game.
Just a few more screens to go before we find out.
Yeah. So this
what
is going to be.
Tromboncino got as an official score.
This is going to be insanely close. I believe that he's got world record here. If he hasn't got, it would be by a few seconds, surely. This has got to be close. So the time to beat is 1:30:33.
Just a quick note, Tromboncino with 7 followers on his Twitch channel. That's Tromboncino. The very last O is actually a 0. You guys want to go ahead and give him a follow? There it is, 1:30:56 official time.
That is so close. For emulator, that is absolutely insane. Hats off to the guy. That's one of the best runs that I've seen. And it was in a race as well.
Very impressive.
And as well, Tyler is on fantastic pace here, but Tromboncino, he's just came up against an absolute juggernaut now with Metal Gear Solid. He's going to be one of the best runners, and he's not many people know. Like you say, he's only got 7 followers on Twitch. Everyone needs to go and follow him because you're going to be watching a future world record runner. So he's slightly off the pace there, and he's using the slower version of the game on emulator. And it came so close. So if he gets I believe he's actually looking into buying the Japanese PS2 as well. So you're gonna have to give him a follow, because this guy's going to make some fantastic waves within the community.
Yeah, and he's now offline, so I think we don't have a producer working with us today. Yesterday,
Yeah, I can check that.
maybe we can go down into Chill Lounge and give him a quick interview.
Yeah, as soon as that he comes online on Discord, I can try and pull him into the channel for an interview.
Okay, yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great. I'm acting as our producer today.
Yeah, so he's be in a couple of seconds here.
So he was only a couple of seconds off of world record, correct?
He was roughly about 20 seconds off.
And for an emulator run, that is
Unbelievable.
amazing.
Unbelievable. People didn't like. There's so much discussion, and it used to just be myself and Plywood really doing emulator runs, and we always discussed like the ceiling being like 132, 131. But this guy's just proven everyone wrong. So I'll bring Tromboncino in now.
Hello.
Fantastic
Hello, guys.
race,
Can
my
you hear
friend.
me?
That was absolutely amazing, Tromboncino. Fantastic
Thanks.
run.
Yeah, this is my personal best.
Yeah, it's so close to world record. You were on world record pace all through. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, to be honest, I forgot to take the stingers on the after the hind.
Yeah,
So
we
I
did
lost.
discuss that. We did
I
discuss that,
forgot.
yeah.
I forgot to take them. I was so excited. The hind was going so nicely. I was like, "Oh my god, this is perfect."
Yeah, we had
And then,
mentioned during the stream that you're from what I've been told is a very good speedrunner and somebody who spent a lot of time with this game, but you haven't particularly spent a lot of time racing, have you?
no, this is my first race ever.
So how was that heart rate up a little bit more than it normally is?
To be honest, no, because I took some diazepam before the run. No, for sure.
Absolutely
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah, I was so fucking stressed at the beginning, but then uh, I started to get comfortable and okay.
So did
Now,
you
did
know
you?
that you were ahead at the time of where Tyler was? Did you just focus on your game and just how you were playing?
Wait, what? I didn't
Did
get
you
it.
did you know that Tyler was far behind? Did you know where he was during the race,
To
or
be
did you just
honest,
focus?
I didn't know. I was playing like I always play, like by myself, because when I think about the others, like in competition or stuff like that, I always get stressed and I lose the pace. I just can't play anymore. So I just think I'm alone playing in my room, doing my things, and I play like that.
No, we have to ask that. Yesterday, Apple's was he let us know that he uses a metronome to do the liquid
Yeah,
engine fight. Did you implement that into your run today?
yeah, of course. I was trying it this afternoon, like 30 minutes, and every time I was trying it went good because the rhythm is so precise, you just can't fail. It's perfect. I love that.
Yeah, so he's made the Infinite a lot easier for pretty much every Metal Gear Solid speedrun, and for those that don't know that rhythm, where
Yeah,
it's hard to get that rhythm when you've got so many distractions within the game as well, like the sound effects from Liquid or the actual sound effects from the punches themselves can put you off the rhythm. Like say if you follow this metronome, that Apple's has just let us in on. You can get that consistently, and as you've just seen now, it's paid off really well for yourself.
yeah. Of course, I was able to do the Infinite myself before the metronome, but it is a nice addition, a very nice one.
Now I have to ask, How long have you been playing MGS1? You're not a familiar name for a lot of us. I don't think you've even been on our Discord for longer than a month, have you?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm playing Metal Gear Solid since when I was 7 years old, and I played it a lot. I mean, a fucking lot. I know this game like my pockets. It's my favorite game ever. I tried so many things by myself. Like, when I jumped in the speedrun community, I saw the strategies, and I was like, "Oh, I know this already by myself. Oh, this is nice."
Yeah, so
So,
you already knew strats. You already had different strats and faster strats to what the
Yeah,
speedrunners were using. You already had them. You maybe even had better strats without even having the sort of the community, or you didn't have any tutorials or anything. You already knew
yeah,
better ways to beat the game.
yeah. That's it. One thing that is pretty fun is the God mode exploit on the PC version. I didn't know about it, but I got by myself, just playing the game normally. It was like, "Oh, the game's broken. What the fuck?"
so you've already run into that. This is really interesting, actually. You've already, we feel like we just discovered this, but you've already known about it for a little while. Just maybe you haven't exploited it to its maximum potential. Am I correct?
No, Plywood discovered it, of course. I just got it once. And
Oh, okay. So you learned it after watching Plywood
yeah,
use it.
But
yeah,
you accidentally got it
yeah,
before Plywood discovered it. Yeah.
yes, because I was playing around with hotkeys, and I was trying to equip the chaff, but instead of hitting 9, I hit 0. But then I switched it back to 9, like very fast, and I got the glitch.
And do you typically run on PC?
Yeah, that's my very favorite
And you've
version.
spent a fair amount of time with large skips, or is all boss your typical
No,
choice?
I got all the world records for all bosses on PC.
Yeah, so you've cleaned up that category, really, haven't you? There's no one who's put too much pressure on some of your times. So that if you have a quick look at the All Bosses PC world record on easy, it's actually 103.37, and the nearest person to that is actually Tyler, and
Yeah,
his time is 106.52. So that just shows you the level that you're playing at the minute, especially on the PC. So you've seen how good Tromboncino is playing on console or playing on emulator. If you watch the PC runs that he's got, all of them are on YouTube or on speedruns.com. If you watch some of the runs, even the PC version, which has the God mode exploit, if you watch those runs, you'll see how good they are, really, and the sort of level that Tromboncino was actually on.
Now we were told
yeah,
before this race started that your connection may have been a little spotty today, but so far from what I saw, you didn't drop any frames. Can we expect future streams on your channel?
yeah. I'm streaming. Like when I'm practicing, I'm streaming. I'm always streaming. So yeah, you can expect a lot from me.
And
Mostly
when you
because
when you are live, are you going to be working on MGS1, or do you have anything else you like to play, or anything you're
no,
currently learning?
just MGS1. I'm doing
Just
world records on Payday 2 as well, but that's another story. I'm not streaming that.
I'm certainly looking forward to seeing it. Anybody you want to shout out to?
To be honest, nobody follows me. I'm
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah,
That's
well,
going to
that's what I was
change.
saying.
Everyone
I
will watch.
posted up your a link to your account earlier, and I wasn't sure if it was your official one. I'm looking at it going, he's only got 7 follows. Is this even the right guy? So there's a
Well,
zero. There's
yeah,
a
on
zero on the
Twitch,
end of
I
that
just
name.
started. I just started on Twitch, but on YouTube, I'm pretty famous. Uh, let's say underground, because I did a very hard challenge on Payday the Heist, and people know me before because of that, not because of Metal Gear.
You're going to be typically recording your runs and putting them onto YouTube. Twitch is not your usual place to share your runs.
Well, if it's Metal Gear, I can stream and put them on Twitch. But if it is another game, I just can't stream with 300 bitrate. That's just insane.
That's a limitation with your internet connection or potentially the PC power.
No, because of my connection. I live in Italy and in a countryside, and my upload is 0.35 Mbps. So
Wow, that's very. Like I think Tyler was just saying before, he was streaming. Tromboncino, you were saying you were streaming at 300, but Tyler was streaming at 2,500. So that's, you can see the difference and how much of a struggle it actually must be to try and just put some sort of stream together. It can't be easy.
Yeah, when I was when I discovered that there was a race for MGS1, I was like, oh my god, I want to participate. I love MGS1. I want to race. I want some competition finally. And and I asked in the Discord, can I race without streaming? And people said, no, you can't. And I was like, no, fuck. But then they told me that I could stream with a very poor connection, and it worked. So I started from there.
Well, I think we're certainly lucky that it did work because you certainly put on a show today. I've got the tournament bracket pulled up right now, and so moving on from the second round, you're going to be facing the winner between Apples, who raced yesterday and who shared the wonderful strategy that he uses for the Liquid Infinite fight, which is the metronome. Versus Raichu. So the winner of that round is going to be facing you in the semifinals. So we're certainly looking forward to that matchup. Of course,
I think it is pretty balanced because Raichu told me he is a bit rusty, and Kai Apples is really good. So I think it's because Raichu told me he is a bit rusty, and
now we are certainly happy to have you race with us. You know, I was just mentioning earlier in the tournament that we've gotten some of the best people in this category. The all bosses easy in this tournament, so we're certainly looking forward to seeing you in the semifinals, and we're going to bring Tyler on as soon as he's ready to his interview. But we thank you a whole bunch, Trombon, for joining us in this tournament and in this interview. Sounds like you're very excited to be part of this, and we're excited to have you with us. So
yeah, I am.
Try not to take my world record too soon, though. It's too soon, Tromboncino. I need some time.
Well, if I had a good rat, I would have gone the world record.
You would have so easily. The strats that we've just seen today, even though it's small optimizations, they're absolutely fantastic, and you put together such a good run there, even for just a race where you had to take it a little bit safe. You know, there was sort of like checking the PAL keys. I assume you would normally you wouldn't check if you got the hot key or the cold key.
Yeah,
So if it was just a PB, you would just run out, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I was scared to reach the control room and have a bad card and lose the run. Oh my god, I can't do that.
Yeah, so it's little things like that where, you know, even if you didn't have the god rat, if you just done your normal strategy and you just got a good rat like you did, not a god rat, but you got a good rat, if you just implemented some of a couple of little riskier strategies, you would have easily got world records. So, you know, I think people need to realize just how fast that run actually was, because it was absolutely incredible to watch.
Yeah, and there is another thing to say. I'm running on emulator, not PS2 with fast display.
Yeah, so you've already lost. I don't know what the difference is, but let's say It might even be 2 minutes. It might even be more. So if you were on PlayStation 2 with fast disk speed on Integral, a 128 is possible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very possible. To be honest, I bought the PSTV, and I will record on that soon.
Yeah. So that's another talking point as well that we've discussed in the community, where PSTV doesn't have any lag either. So we believe that the loading times are quite similar to Japanese PlayStation 2 fast disk speed. So that's also you can get a 128 on that format as well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we're certainly looking
Okay.
forward to that run once you do get that PSTV. And it looks like Tyler's ready to go with his interview. And again, Trombone, it was a pleasure to watch your run today. For a lot of us, this was our first time getting a look at your strategies, and I think it was one of the best runs I've seen in quite a while. So looking forward to seeing you move on into the semifinals.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks to you
congratulations.
guys. Yeah, thanks a lot. Time for Tyler. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye now.
So I'll just move Tyler in now.
Hey, there he is.
Hello? Hey, how you guys
Tyler.
doing?
Tyler2022. How'd the run go, Tyler?
Well, I think my only major screw up was at say right before disc 2 going to like the hide fights. I didn't pick up one stinger pack ammo, and because of that, I couldn't keep I just couldn't keep them up long enough to actually do the sunlock. So I feel like I messed up there, but everywhere else I felt like I made minor mistakes, or I did pretty okay. Wolf 2, there's a lot of leading shots, and then the liquid fight I had goofed up because I just messed up on the setup, and then I had tried to save it, and it was just too late. And I figured by that point, because I was kind of watching some of the stream, and it was kind of a little bit out of hand by that point, because Tromboncino just had a really great run. So, but still, personal best for me. So I'm all happy about it. So can't complain.
We know this isn't your strongest category as far as speedrunning goes. You tend to spend more time in MGS2. How much time have you spent with MGS1 All Boss Easy?
Oh gosh, for console, this is my first ever I guess I've maybe done 3 attempts, because I normally do PC All Bosses. So there's some differences, of course, but I mean console, you have to be a lot more, I guess, careful, because on PC you can kind of get away with being sloppy due to the God mode exploit. So just gotta be more careful, and you have to actually play really well, which I played, I think, fairly well to decent, but definitely not to the level of Tromboncino.
Yeah, 134 on PS3 is a really good time as well. So that we were saying before, if you came up against another runner that wasn't Tromboncino, you could have, with that run, that 134, you could have easily won 50, 60, 70% of the matchups at the time. So it was a really good run, but then it came up against Tromboncino at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Really.
There's only 2 people that I had really not wanted to actually go up against, and that was Plywood and Tromboncino. Those 2, I was definitely afraid. I'm please do not pair me up with them. And then I saw the pairings. I'm dang it. Okay, I just have to play really well and hope that he screws up. Which, I mean, I had played okay, and he just didn't screw up that much. But I mean, it's all good. Fairly good run from me. I thought I did okay. I had a couple of mistakes, in the minefield, and got knocked down by the ninja and at the stairs. I mean, there's a bunch of small stuff here and there, but yeah, I think all together it was pretty good though. I definitely did better than I thought that I was going to do.
Now you're certainly out of the tournament, but you do have plans to do our next tournament, which we will be broadcasting on Metal Gear Speedrunners channel, the channel you're watching right now. Which is a MGS2 tournament. We're doing normal and European Extreme. Which one do you plan on registering for?
Can you register for both, or can you only do one?
I believe you can register for both. Yeah. So,
well, then I'm gonna do both. Why not? Why not? I mean, come on. Yeah.
And at the current moment, you currently hold the #1 time in loading trick and non-loading trick, correct?
Correct. Yes, for European Extreme, Metal Gear Solid 2 HD collection.
Now, do you have any plans on getting what is the new console from Nvidia called? It's
The Nvidia Shield.
The Nvidia
No,
Shield.
not
Do you have any
this.
plans
Not
on
this.
picking one up?
I've browsed them through like Black Friday, and right now in my like current financial situation, I'm not really preparing to pick one up. But if I come across one at a decent price, I will probably pick it up. But I won't be actually running Metal Gear Solid 2 until 2018, which is I hope whenever the next tournament starts. Because I like told myself, I want to be done with MGS2 until 2018. So hopefully, like things work out and it starts at like 2018. But for the Shield, not many people have it. I think that I know personally has it, and he's not really that heavily invested in Metal Gear Solid 2, so he hasn't had the chance to actually do anything with it. But like, I would definitely want to actually purchase it one day. Just probably not right now. Maybe a couple of months from now, maybe I'll stumble across it.
So from now until 2018, you're not going to be playing much MGS2, but I do have your channel up on the chat right now.
Yep.
What can we expect on your channel right now?
So right now, I am probably going to be doing Rugrats, Search for Ripstar. There is 2 categories for that. There is all levels, and there is any percent. I'm just doing very basic goals there. After that, then I'll be going back to Metal Gear Solid 1, and that should last all of December. So later on, maybe like another week or 2 from now, I'll probably be doing Metal Gear Solid 1 console, and maybe some like PC runs, because some of my PC time can definitely be like optimized. I mean, because like for my like all bosses runs, they're all second to Tromboncino, which is the guy who I just raced. So just gotta keep on grinding MGS1 and try to get some better times. So.
Well, we certainly enjoyed your Life is Strange runs. Can we expect any more speed runs of that game?
Probably not. I could grind out second. I think first place is really well optimized and guy is really good. But I could probably grind out second, but the run is 5.5 hours. So I don't think I want to be doing that constantly. I mean, that's kind of like one of those runs that like you do like maybe 1 to 3 times, and then you just kind of just sit on that for a while. And that, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna sit on that for a while.
You don't want to be doing a 5.5 hour run and then realizing 3 hours in that you're so far behind you need to reset. It's one of those runs where you don't want to be grinding. You don't want to be grinding a 5.5 hour run, really.
Definitely not my type of speed game. It's just something different besides Metal Gear Solid games, and that's why I'm doing Life is Strange, I'm doing Rugrats, and I'll be doing Metal Gear Solid 1 later this month.
So safe to say you're happy with your 3rd place position on the board currently.
Oh yeah, definitely. I am most happy with that. As long as I was like top 5, I was gonna be happy. But I got 3rd, so I was like, okay, this works too.
Now, a prelude to that game is called Before the Storm, correct? And that's coming out next year.
Yes, and that's the prequel. No, that's already out. 3rd episode is coming out, I believe, in another week from now. Like the rumors saying is like the 3rd episode, because there's 3 episodes for Before the Storm, and then there's 5 episodes for the main game, and I might do. I'm not too sure yet, though. I'd have to really look into that, but I'm not really looking many speedruns like that. I would rather do something like shooters or like Metal Gear Solid or like other stuff like platformers. Just trying to broaden and do some different stuff.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to more Metal Gear Solid runs out of you next year. And,
oh yeah, definitely.
Before we wrap up the stream, anybody want to shout out to?
Shout out to Plywood. Shout out to Metal Gear Solid Slade, Jaguar King, Strafe Machine, and Copper Tank. All those guys are really good friends of mine, and or I have looked up to them. So without them, I probably would not be where I'm at right now.
Well, it's good having you on the show today. And we're
right,
glad
man,
that I know it's probably not the easiest thing to come on and talk to us during an interview after you lose a race or lose a tournament.
Oh no, it's fun. This race was fun.
Most people who know Tyler know he's a good sport, and we were happy to have you on the stream today.
All right, thanks
I'm
for
going to
having me.
mention that there will be a race tomorrow with Trix and Toma. Toma is my co-commentator today, so tomorrow I'll be
Ooh.
commentating with Plywood, and I'm looking forward to that because me and Plywood certainly have a pretty good chemistry. And so yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. So for me, for Toma, for Tromboncino and Tyler2022, thanks for joining us.